Welcome to From Tech Developer to Real Estate Developer. Here you'll go from making ends meet behind a keyboard to living in true freedom by using real estate well, never having to work a full-time job, report to a manager, or give your adult life to a corporation that probably doesn't care about you. We will give you everything you need for your journey: techniques, principles, real-world experience, and application, filtered through 5 key power principles from my book, People Power, Other People's Money, How to Win, Enjoy, and Reserve. Get ready to take notes. Let's jump into From Tech Developer to Real Estate Developer. Welcome to another edition of From Tech Developer to Real Estate Developer. I have a new guest here today, Max Shah. Welcome in, brother.
And thank you.
Yes, indeed. And if you're new to the show, basically we help you get from the tech world, living behind a keyboard, like both Max and I had experienced before, to living in true freedom through real estate investing. I'll go ahead and explain Max's experience here. He graduated from actually a college in my hometown of Chicago, Northwestern. He was working in IT for Microsoft, and he decided, I'm going to start with a value add hotel in Texas. And when he sold it, he made a 10x return. As of today, he's at 500 multifamily doors, 500 self-storage units, 500 more self-storage units under construction, 2 gas stations, and 6 short-term rentals. So this guy is very busy, so we're grateful to have him here today. And before we get started into the meat of this, Max, could you explain kind of like your rough journey, maybe from upbringing to getting into IT and to what you're doing here today in just like 2 minutes roughly, or less, 75 seconds or so? We'd appreciate it.
Yep. So I grew up in India in 10th. So when I came to States, everything was luxury to me. Free school, free housing, whatnot. So I was excited. So I studied my way from UCLA to Texas A&M to Virginia Tech to Northwestern and finished off. And then I got a job offer from Microsoft that I wasn't even chasing after. So I was just curious. So I went there and started working as a project developer for the project that back then it was a Project X. We were creating the underwater data centers.
Oh, okay.
And I designed it with my team, and we created a few of them in San Jose and San Francisco Bay.
Okay.
Then I realized my dad used to tell me that if I got a knowledge, why am I filling up everybody else's pocket instead of my pocket?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a bigger dream of helping a lot of folks out and building schools and universities. And I'm like, I did my calculation. At this rate, I wasn't going to go anywhere. Then I don't know, God had different plans or whatnot, but my grandma got sick in Texas. That's how I found a hotel in Texas and moved there.
You got sick in Texas and found a deal out of it.
Yeah, my grandma got sick, so I had to go take care of her.
Oh, your grandma.
So I had to quit my IT job and move there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. I missed the grandma part. Well, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wow, you never know through what pain will come a gain, right?
Yep, exactly, man.
Yeah.
From swinging keyboard to swinging hammer now.
Yeah. All right. Well, awesome intro. So for the outline, we usually go through the POWER acronym. So it's people power, other people's money or resources, winning, enjoying, and reserve. So let's go to people power. What sort of inspirations did you have in your life to do such aggressive moves, Max?
So when I was growing up in India, I used to work over there to pay for my school, and we used to carry bricks and whatnot to build buildings.
Okay.
And ever since I was a kid, I wanted to build something myself. So I had that dream of building my own homes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And other people along the way came in, motivated me. Then I started reading about the Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, and I'm like, yes, God changed my life somewhere.
Amen. And you
Yep.
mentioned your father and your was grandma another
Yep.
influence for you too?
Yep. My father was always there. He was working his life away just to feed us.
Yeah.
My grandma was there to take care of us. But when it came to our time to take care of her, anything for the family first. So I quit there, and I guess that's the God led me there to buy a hotel.
Awesome, man. And you mentioned going to a few different colleges. I'm just curious,
Yeah.
what was the cause of that?
So when I came to States, I was in eighth grade, but when I was in high school in California, they bumped me up to senior year right away. So I graduated high school when I was 15 and a half,
Oh, wow.
and there was nobody to teach me how to go to school or what to do over there. I didn't know it was some sort of guidance counselor over there. Nobody showed me or anything. So I'm like, okay, let me go to UCLA because I was accepted over there first with a full scholarship.
Oh,
And and they told me like, hey, you got good business law program. So I started studying business law for a year and a half. Then it
okay.
then it got a little bit different, and I didn't like it. So then I got accepted into Texas A&M with a full grants and scholarships.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, let me change my topic of study. Let me start psychology. So I started studying psychology over there. About a year into it, didn't like it either. So I moved to Virginia Tech with a full scholarship over there too. And I was doing my IT, but I didn't like the area. It was so small town and whatnot. So I
Oh,
did 3 years in IT over there. Then Northwestern came along and hey man, you want to move to Chicago? And I always wanted to go there.
oh, okay.
So so I moved there, finished my IT over there, and studied for astrophysics for about a year and a half. Then it
Wow.
was too much, so I quit studying, and my professor sent my resume and whatnot to all the people without telling me. We had a job fair, so he pushed me to it. I'm like, okay, I
Okay,
just went along the ride.
gotcha. Wow, so you had a little brief stint unknowingly because somebody sent your resume out
Yep.
at
So he was
Microsoft.
like, he knew I was gonna quit studying soon because I've been telling him because he was one of the best professors I ever had in my life.
Oh, okay.
So then I moved from there. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna figure out something for you. Then you came along too far in your life. We can't just let you drain like that.
Oh, yeah.
Then he pushed me like he took me literally. He didn't tell me where I was going. He just walked me to the job fair without resumes and like, okay, I got two meetings set up for you already. Just go talk to them guy standing over there, and this guy standing over there. I'm
That's
like, I don't
crazy.
need job, but no, he's like, no, we gotta go talk to him. So I went and talked to them, and it was a spontaneous moment. The guy told me to pack up my bags in 10 minutes and meet him outside the dorm.
Wow.
And I still didn't know if I was accepted or I'd have had a job or whatnot or who the guy was. Only
Mm.
thing I knew was the professor sent me over there to talk to him
What do you think made him a champion for you and support you so aggressively?
because he knew that I was working hard from day one. Ever since I was in school, high school, I used to work 100 hours a week too. And even in the university, I kept on working that many hours after the
Oh, wow.
university. So I
Gotcha.
used to go to schools in morning, and I used to work from evening to all up to next morning in a hotel at night desk,
Oh,
evening and night. So he's
okay.
like, you got. So he influenced me too. Like he says, you got knowledge, you got a lot of experience. I don't know why you still stuck at a hotel. Go
Oh,
find a better job.
okay. These lights are killing my eyes. I'm gonna decrease the brightness a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man.
Oh boy. Okay. A little bit too bright. And
Yeah,
now a little dark, but I gotta rebuild my eyes. So
exactly,
yeah.
man.
Um, so that's fascinating. So you never know who will recognize you and when you're working
Exactly.
hard. I also always mention too when something interesting that I came across is my one of my first real estate coaches was Don DeRosa,
Yep.
and you'd be amazed at how willing they are to do one-on-one sessions with you without necessarily paying the full 20 grand or whatever. Like I paid him like the usual like 997 type thing, and
Yep.
after a few years I hit a roadblock from that initial course, and
Yep.
I reached out to him and I said, hey, could I pay you some dough to help me more one-on-one versus a group setting. And he gave me a pretty ridiculous low price because it's so rare for him to see people actually doing the work, working hard, as you just said.
Yep.
And so when he sees that, he's like, all right, i'm I'm doing this teaching and I'm finally seeing a result, so help this student out above and beyond what I usually do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Now, how did the hotel come about? Because did you have experience before you even took on that?
Yeah, so I used to work for the hotels when I was in universities and high school over here
Okay.
in California. So I started from I practically managed a bunch of hotels from mom and pop to shitty hotels in East LA, all the way up to Hilton and DoubleTrees.
Oh, wow.
So when I graduated from the school, I was like, okay, I was gonna go buy me a hotel or work at the hotel chain
Hmm.
because I wasn't gonna get me job in IT because it was stressful anyway. That's what everybody told me.
Oh.
But when I ended up in Microsoft managing 30 people as an intern, when everybody was getting fired over there, I got hired at 150 a year, and I was put in as an intern, but I was managing the whole project.
Wow. That's crazy.
But then my grandma got sick, and I'm like, okay, I gotta quit here. I can't do work from home back in the day,
Yeah.
and they made me sign pre non-compete agreement for 10 years. So
Wow.
can't work for any IT company. So the
Those
only thing I had
jerks.
left was hotel. Yep.
Yeah. We got to look in the fine print.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
it
see,
sounds like it didn't matter for you, thanks to God.
nope.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. So you already had like underwriting experience, management experience, so it wasn't that intimidating to you. What?
Nope. So I did a lot of renovations in the hotel too.
Okay.
So
So you got your feet wet without even having to actually have upfront money because you just work for them.
yep.
So we already got some great tidbits there. If you want to get into the hotel business, just go work for a hotel and make sure they don't have you sign a non-compete agreement.
Yeah, in the hotel they don't sign anyway.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
There's other people that even join development firms too. I've heard that
Yep.
to learn how to develop properties, and also get the network from that.
Yep.
Uh, so I guess we could talk about the money next. Other people's money or resources. How did you
Yep.
get the money or resources together to buy that hotel? Like what did the deal look like?
So that hotel was my own money. I didn't start raising money from people until I joined the multifamily
Okay.
because I didn't even know it was such thing out there or people would give me money because I was like, okay, who's gonna give me money? I'm just a poor and broke and quit my Microsoft job. But
Hmm.
when I quit my job at Microsoft a year and a half, I had a full savings because they're housing me over there too in San Jose, so I didn't have any housing expense.
Oh, okay.
And I had a lunch and dinner at the campus anyway, so I had no food expense. I had a Starbucks and whatnot, and in the all like can eat buffet and whatnot for
Oh,
Microsoft.
okay.
So I had no food expense. Only expense I had was a cell phone and internet.
And how much did you
And
pay for the hotel? And what sort of down payment?
so I paid about 100 grand full cash for the property. It was middle of nowhere on I-40, 5 acre. I paid 100 grand because I thought it was cheap land because of the 5 acres concrete paved.
Okay.
And it was a closed down property though.
Oh,
56 rooms, one restaurant, two storefront, and a hotel.
oh wow, 56.
And he had a one house as a manager quarter too. So I'm
Okay.
like, okay, 100 grand house sounds cheap. California back then was like $300,000-400,000 for houses
Oh yeah.
back in '08, '09. So I'm like, 100 grand sounds cheap, and I get 5 acres, and if I could run it properly, I could make some money.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would just keep it as a house and work somewhere else.
What sort of renovations were you looking at?
So I wasn't look. The renovations was so when I went in there, the condition of the room was pretty good. It was a brick building and whatnot. So the only thing I had to do was like change the carpets and whatnot, and change the bed frames and mattresses. Everything else was like tip top shape.
Oh wow.
Yep.
So no big roof leaks or anything like that.
Nope. The owner had a brand new roof installed about 4 years ago before I bought it. I had to work on a parking lot. The parking lot was concrete paved, but some of the concrete were cracked. The grass was growing out of there and whatnot. So
So you just put duct
kind
tape on that.
Yeah, I just patched all that on my own. I was only gonna hire somebody and spend a bunch of money because I only had 50 grand in reserve.
Yeah.
So I
So
just
did you like
worked on my
gradually
own.
do stuff as you reserve the
Yeah,
room?
I was working like a two rooms, one or two rooms a week on my own because there was nobody coming in over there anyway. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me work on it. I spent 50 grand, but did a bunch of advertisements, even gave away two storefront for free instead of leasing them out
Oh
for like
wow.
2 years just to bring the people in the property.
Oh, that's genius.
And then I tried to rent the restaurants for free for like 2 years and see if they make some money to bring us
Yeah.
some customers.
Oh wow.
But then then nobody was coming in from the exit was really small on I-40. Property was right on exit, but exit was so small there was nothing to do. There were only like 200 people in town,
Oh wow.
and they
So
were all
how did
old
you
folks.
fill them?
So I went in there. They gave me funny looks because I was the only different color skin over there anyway.
Uh-huh.
But they were all welcoming though. Surprising, they were all nice. First, when I went in there, I asked, inquired about them about buying the hotel. They were all happy and jolly because the town was getting improved.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they must have appreciated that.
Yeah. Yep. Because then I went to City Hall and there was only like six people worked over there for the whole thing. City Hall, post office, and I combined everything.
Okay.
So I went and talked to the mayor. I'm like, hey man, I can't run the hotel here that I promised you, but I want to repurpose the property and bring a town a gas station that we desperately need because there was none for like 60 miles
Oh wow.
or 40 miles.
Okay.
So I'm like, let me repurpose my property. If I try and sell my property to truck stop, you're gonna give me a hard time on the zoning of this place and whatnot. He's like, no man, just bring me what you got going on. We'll sign you next day and you got rezoned within a week.
Oh, wow. They're like, please bring us more money
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah, exactly. And sad thing for them, a sad thing was that I was outside city limits, literally
Oh.
5 feet from city limits, but I was the other side of 5 feet. But they still supplied me with the water and whatnot. But county took care of all the permits and everything because county was small too.
Okay.
So I brought in a big truck stop. They still haven't opened it, but they own the land and paying taxes on it.
Oh, interesting.
Lowe's just bought it because they don't want to have the tier or pilot coming over there.
They don't want to have what?
They don't want a competition in the area, so they bought a land for
Oh,
me and
okay.
just hold it. I think they were going to work on it a couple of years ago to build a truck stop over there.
Okay.
If I go
So,
now, probably be built by now, but could be wrong.
so did the gas station end up bringing the revenues you needed for your hotel?
Yeah. So the truck stop, I bought a hotel for 100,000, spent 150 more.
Okay.
They gave me 950 cash for it. So
Okay. Oh,
so
wow.
I was like happy and jolly, and my grandma wanted to move to Florida too. So I was start looking stuff in Pensacola or somewhere
Yeah.
because I didn't want to go South Florida.
How
And
did you
my
find the buyer for that? The 950.
no, the Lowe's truck stop, Lowe's. I went to truck stop and told them, man, hey man, I got these 5 acres on exit I-40,
Mm-hmm.
exit on I-40, 5 acres paved concrete. There's no truck stops nearby. There is no gas station for 40 miles, and your nearest location is 80 miles, either east or west.
Oh, so you did some digging.
Yep. So I'm like, okay, because I was gonna repurpose the property. I wasn't gonna lose money because I didn't have money to lose anymore.
Okay.
Either that, I was gonna go find me a job, and I wasn't gonna stay in that town
Yeah.
if I had to work over there.
Yeah. You got to navigate 40 miles just to get anywhere.
Yep. Yep. If I was out of gas, I gotta walk 40 miles just to get gas.
Yeah.
Because AAA would take about 2 hours to get there too.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I
Okay.
was like, then
So
I
that,
bought two hotels in Pensacola, which was also closed down, foreclosed by bank because the BP
okay.
oil spill happened, and they couldn't run the business because they were so slow.
Oh, okay.
So I went to bank and negotiated down for $1 million for two properties, 168 rooms.
Yeah. Wow.
So
So you really got creative with it.
yeah, the bank was happy to throw it away from their books because they've been
Yeah.
holding the bank for more 2 years.
Yeah. That's
They
what
put
a
it
lot
on
of
my
people don't realize, that you could find who the deed is and go to the bank directly and negotiate better
Yep.
terms than what the owner is even giving you.
Most of the times, bank is not in the business of holding property. They want to get rid of them from the books as soon as possible or within the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So they'll put it on the market first. If you don't sell, they put it on an auction. Don't sell, then they hold it and sell it to whoever comes in on negotiation.
Hmm.
And these two hotels were closed down and ran by homelesses. And so bank was just frustrated and trying to get rid of them.
Yeah, it's a
So they
liability
just,
to them. They're not in the
yep,
property management business.
yep. So
Yeah.
they were happy to give me for like 950, both of them. I'm like, they asked me what's my offer. I said 650. Is that we can't do that low. I'm like, I only have 950 in my account, and I need something in reserve so to work on it.
Yeah.
It says 950 days, but we'll give you 50,000 in reserve back after closing
Oh wow.
for operating
So
as an
they even
operating
gave you
reserve.
money back.
Yeah, so they gave me 50K back to work on it as operating reserve.
Okay.
So I went in there, kicked out everybody, started working on my own.
Yeah.
I was a front desk guy for two hotels right next to each other, a maintenance guy, a manager, housekeeper, you name it.
Yeah. Did you have a housekeeper apron too?
Yep, pretty much. And I had a sign on my doors like, "Hey, call this number if you need help," because I was back and forth to two properties.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, quick question on your mentality there. This kind of ties into winning, having a winning mentality too. A lot of people could be caught up in fear, especially
Yep.
dealing with homeless people. Like, what if I get shot? Like, how did you overcome that fear, or did you even have fear going into it?
No, I grew up in East LA, so I got dropped on gunpoints when I was a kid over there.
Oh wow.
So when I was 15 years old when I came to States, I used to work at 7-Elevens over there. And I
Oh.
got robbed about 3, 4 times, 2 times gunpoint. So I'm like, worst case scenario, all they're gonna do is shoot me down, right? So I'm like, let me just go out there, talk to them. So I went there, I fed them all lunch and everything, right? First.
Okay.
Try to be try to comfort them first. That's
Yeah.
what you do. You don't just go out there, barge them and kick them out.
Yeah.
And I told them, man, hey man, this is what I got situation here. I know you all want to stay somewhere, but if I don't repurpose this property, I'm gonna be joining you guys in 6 months.
Yeah.
So there were only like 10 of them. So I paid them each $1,000 to get out. And they were
Okay.
happy to take the money and get out.
Okay.
And they
Like
even
cash
made
for
sure that
keys.
nobody else came in. Yep. So they even made sure that nobody else would come in the area for like 6 months.
Oh wow.
So they
They
would hang around in the area. If somebody new comes in, they take them with them and push them
wow.
out.
So they were like your little security force because they were
Yep,
such good terms with you.
exactly.
That's
I
awesome.
fed them. I fed them for 3 more months after that lunch.
Yeah.
They were all happy. They were getting fed. So,
Yeah.
but I just told them, hey man, you can't hang out at the property. I'm trying to clean up the image.
Yeah.
But I'll meet you at the subway. I'll call the subway guy, and we just get you the lunch for all of you.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand. Everybody's a human, and
Yep,
it could be easily to. There's a lot of taboo around low income
yep,
homeless people, and I deal in that world, affordable housing. But the thing is, there, if you just figure out how to empathize with them, and then like you just did, have them empathize with you, treat them like human beings
yep,
instead of like
yep,
subhuman, they'll work
yep,
with you.
yep.
Statistically, it's also somebody that you already know, like a long-term friendship. I know you're enjoying that content, but I just wanted to personally invite you to the Commonwealth Affordable Housing Fund. If you want to passively earn while also building communities, doing philanthropy even, while getting quarterly distributions and even sharing in the exit about 5 years down the line, then please join us. This used to just be for friends and family, but you could join in now. You could be essentially earning through an expert, which is I, running the investment firm Commonwealth. So if you want to be a part of it, and also get access to exclusive events where we go to in-progress construction and I show you how your money is being used actively and how the renovation was just complete and how this is going to help change people's lives, how we negotiate an acquisition. So you could be a part of those events throughout the year and also earn passively. So if you want to be a part of that, please click the link below
and I'll let you back to your awesome content. Thanks.
That the FBI says that a crime will be committed to. Like 90% of crimes are done by somebody close to you. So
Yep.
the thing is to you actually have a lower chance of getting shot by a stranger than by like
Yep.
a friend.
True.
So just keep that in mind when it comes to investing. And yeah, those are great ways to start that you just described. And this is also what makes people think, oh, real estate is so it's a lot of scams, because this guy just went from a 10x return to probably much bigger. How would you say the second return was when you
So I
exit?
bought it. Let's say I bought it for $1 million. I got $2.9 million from BP from an oil settlement when they killed all the business.
Oh,
And I sold the property, both of them, 2 years later for 6.2 combined.
wow. So you see how this sounds too
Mhm.
good to be true, but this sort of stuff happens all the time. And so if you get stuck on just not acting because you think it sounds too good to be true, then you're just not going to make any money. You're not going to make a serious generational wealth out of you and your family.
Yep.
So just trying, and even I'm sure there's going to be sometimes you're going to get a little hit in the face here and there,
Yep.
but that's just a part of life. I also say winning involves losing sometimes too. What
Yeah.
was your kind of kick in the face moment? What's something that went wrong?
So so when I was buying a hotel in Texas after Pensacola, when I sold them to
Mm-hmm.
the local bank here had the gas stations when I bought the hotels from. It's like, hey, we got 2 more gas stations. I know you like to buy close down business from us. And I don't know nothing about gas stations.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to give up my operating, I had to give up 20% to my operating partners to run a hotel in Texas, just to run the gas station over here, because I didn't know nothing about the business. I wasn't gonna hire somebody. If I
Okay.
didn't know how to run it, I wasn't gonna hire somebody to run it before
Oh,
until I learned.
yeah.
And they were closed down stations. I bought first one. It was it, I made some money. Bank actually gave me more money than at a closing. I bought it for 750. They gave me back 250 for operating reserves and 50K for inventory loan. So my down payment was only $150,000. But then I went in there, walked in there. Then I found out that the station had 20 different owners in 20 years. None of
Whoa,
them, none of them made it over there.
my gosh.
So I ran that station 100 hours a week, open to close for like 3 years myself without making any money.
Wow.
I was still putting money from every day, every day, every day. So I lost about $150,000. But then we got a hurricane hit,
Oh.
and after a hurricane, they picked up pretty good.
Oh,
And, but I did lost some money here and there in EMD and whatnot in multifamily,
yeah.
about $200,000.
Yeah. But over the long term, you still win.
Yep, yep. So there's always gonna be lessons when you lose someone, you lose some, you win some,
Yeah.
but you gotta be creative. More creative you are in real estate, the more money you're gonna make.
Yeah. There was a creative way of addressing liens. So for
Yep.
those that people that don't know, a lien could be a mortgage that a bank puts on your property, or a lien
Mm-hmm.
could be, let's say, like a mechanic's lien. Contractor didn't get
Yep.
paid. Uh,
Yep.
so this, uh, I haven't spoke to him in like 2 years, but he's a real estate investor, and he bought some sort of a unique circumstance foreclosure, and there was like three liens on it. So the mortgage was obviously eliminated by the foreclosure because
Yep.
the bank got themselves at least partially whole by the foreclosure at
Yep.
auction, but that
Yep.
still leaves liens 2 and 3. So there was a secondary loan and some sort of other lien. So instead of John just letting, like, okay, I'll go deal with paying this off in full, he actually skip traced them, found out their names and numbers, and was able to negotiate that amount just drastically down. And
Yep.
yeah, you could be creative just doing stuff like that.
Because they had to negotiate it. It was creative, is a great way to do it, and they had to negotiate anyway or otherwise they're gonna lose the money anyway because they know
Yeah.
there was a secondary or third liens, which
Yeah,
won't qualify if he goes out and get a mortgage on it.
exactly. Yeah. It's not
Yep,
that it may take time, but they
yep,
could have their liens eliminated entirely
yep,
through like a
yep,
quiet title action or something like that.
yep.
Um, but yeah. Well, so let's jump into kind of the bigger stuff that you're doing nowadays. How did you get into the much bigger stuff?
So I came to Panama City when I was running gas station and I started building homes here, single family homes in 2021.
Okay.
My whole purpose of building and developing homes was to learn how development works so I could do bigger things, like develop a hotel or something.
Okay.
I had the experience of cut down renovation in a hotel, but I didn't have experience of developing it completely. So I'm like, let me start with a small. I don't want to lose a bunch of money if I
Mhm.
go south. So I built a few homes, 6 homes. Turned out to be a great thing I ever did. I got so every single one of them sold before I even got it ready to go on market.
Nice.
So COVID helped me over that a little bit because housing was short around here.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, okay, there's some money to develop, but I was tired. So I'm like, okay, let me just flip some homes. And I bought one home thinking with a contractor, thinking that he's gonna do all the work and I don't have to do much of work. And I was just split him with some of the profit.
Okay.
Turned out to be a bad deal. I lost about 120 grand on that home.
Oh wow.
And that's after me owner financing to somebody else.
Mm.
So I may break even in 6 years when he pays me back, if he pays me back.
Oh man. Okay.
But
That
right now,
was
I don't.
a owner finance deal, you said? What were the
Yeah,
specifics?
so the I trusted too much on the contractor, and I let him lose and buy a property,
Oh,
and I funded it without me going in there inspecting it. Turned out to be
oh,
property
you
was so bad we had to
without the
reframe the
underwriting
whole
due
thing.
diligence being done by you?
Yep, he told me he was gonna be great. We're gonna make 50 grand in 6 months. I'm like, okay,
Oh,
because he knew what he was doing, and I know what he was doing. So I'm like, okay. Now I was too busy with multifamily stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's start something on the side. So I
yeah.
funded that project and we bought a home for 130, which was a shit. We do it, pardon my language, which was the crappiest home I could think of. Looks
Oh,
nice from outside. When I went inside, everything was just termite infested.
oh wow.
So we had to get rid of the termites and we had to pull the permits, and permits were 6 months or more.
Oh,
So instead of pulling permits to reframe the house, I told my contractor, just start replacing 1 2x4 at a time. That way you don't have to pull permits.
okay.
And I made sure and asked the city, like, if I replace 1 2x4 at a time, do I still have to pull permits? He's like, as long as you don't knock the structure down, you don't have to pull permits for that one.
Okay.
So I replaced the whole framing 2x4. Then some more stuff came in, and I spent about $100,000 extra than I was supposed to in the
Dang.
property.
Yeah.
So I was
The thing with
then,
contractors is you really got to stay on top of them, right?
yep.
Like
I
it
let him
could,
I let him lose, and I lost about 160.
yeah.
So
The thing, the word that comes to mind is contractors could easily get complacent if they have the same routine and
yep,
they know money's coming. So that's why I personally left like the fix and flip business, is because I almost just about have to go see them every other day at a minimum,
yep,
stay on top of
yep,
them to make sure that on budget, on time, you know, just the one wall or 1 month of
yep,
losses could destroy a deal if it's managed
yep.
that way.
I was stupid enough not to just trust him and didn't even plan anything. He gave me a quotation about 100 grand. It's gonna take it to fix. It ended up being 260
Oh wow.
because we had to replace the whole thing. We found out there was a pool which wasn't filled right, so we had to fill the pool again and whatnot, and
Okay.
cut down some trees and power lines, move them around.
Yeah.
A lot of work came up that wasn't over there, and
Yeah.
I didn't expect. I didn't look at the property either until it
Yeah.
was finished.
You
But then,
that's also a good topic of experience, right? Like you probably have more experience than the contractor.
so I built 6 homes with different contractor before, so I knew
Yeah.
what he was gonna need to fix, and he explained me because I didn't go look at property. So I'm like, okay, probably gonna be he's gonna be about 120 in it, and he says 100. I'm gonna put 20% more.
Yeah.
That's to be on the safe side, but I didn't my mistake was I didn't do the property myself.
Yeah. And there's
And
little
I
things like
trusted.
that we'll find over time that we'll know better because we just have spread our experience across so
Yep.
many deals, more deals than one
Yep.
person has.
Yep.
Um,
So that was my last single family deal, and I moved to multifamily completely after that.
yeah. There was something that came up, uh, a small example of that, and it was oh, okay. There was a modular kitchen set that my contractor was installing in a kitchen,
Yep.
and the bar that holds like mugs
Yep.
is interconnected, is all one metal piece basically from IKEA, and the
Yep.
metal bar was swinging across an outlet, and we didn't account for that, and we were like, oh man, we can't use this thing, my contractor said. So I had him do a WhatsApp video, and I was like, you know, what if we just take one of your little hand saws and just cut that piece of metal out, and then just seal it with some putty so that the metal isn't gonna scratch somebody in the
Yeah.
future. And it
Yep.
was like, oh man, we just save hundreds of dollars of having just eliminate and uninstall
Yep.
all this
Exactly.
just by
Happy.
having another perspective,
Yep. More brains are better than one brain. That's what I tell
exactly.
you.
Yeah. Okay, so we got through winning. Now we're into the enjoy part. So how do you enjoy what you've earned in your living, and all the passive income you've generated from real estate?
So I used to work 100 hours a week until a couple of years ago. Last year, actually, when my kid was born.
Oh, okay. Oh, congrats on the
That's when,
kid.
yep, thank you. That's when I quit 100 hours and sold one at my gas station. I
Okay.
still have one that's my wife says don't sell that one.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna hold on to that property. But I stopped working 100 hours and I spent more time with the family and traveling a lot. That was one of my things, was to travel a lot, travel and experience different people, different culture.
Uh-huh.
So I've been to Jamaica, I've been to a few states within less than 1 year.
So you must have
Yep.
found people to support you better on that so that you could
Yep.
delegate more stuff.
Yep. So we start closing multifamily deals, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. It's blessing some of my income. Acquisition fees coming in too. So
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm replacing my gas station income, so I don't have to actively work over there anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had Airbnb was managed by property manager, so I had no stress over there.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Why
okay,
did you never hire a manager for the gas stations?
it's really hard to find it.
Oh, okay.
It's really hard to find people to work at the gas station
Oh,
because profit margins are really thin over there. If somebody starts stealing stuff, you'll be in the hole, and
okay.
you won't figure out until like when your books are negative for 4 months.
Oh, and the turnover is high.
Mm-hmm. By the time you figure out you were negative, you've been like 30,000 in the hole.
Oh, wow. Okay. I could see why now. So would you say you would have done multifamily a lot sooner then?
Yep. When I was working the gas station, I was looking into it for a long time. I was listening to Rod Cleve's podcast and whatnot, other podcast. I was in the Facebook groups with multifamily. I was studying in the background. But when I joined the Rod Cleve's Warrior program, then I took actions and I'm like, okay, this guy's saying something to
Okay.
me. And I paid him 20 grand to tell me something. So I better listen to him.
Yeah.
No, but he's really nice, and his stuff made me quit my day-to-day job
Yeah.
and put more efforts to the family.
Amen to that, bro. You
You know,
know, there's a lot of people that would say, how could you spend that amount of money on education? Like it's all a scam. But the thing is, it's also gonna light a fire under your butt. Like you just said,
yep,
you're gonna make
it's
sure you get results from that investment.
yep, yep. It's not education mainly. I knew what I was getting into already, but it was building networks and connections.
Yeah.
That's the reason I paid 20 grand just to get into the field. Somebody to push me over there to start taking actions.
Yeah.
And ever since I joined, year and a half ago. I spoke to 1,500 people.
Oh, amen. That's awesome.
Yep.
Congrats, man.
I
Yeah,
wasn't talking
no,
to anybody before that. I was like, okay, let me do my own thing, and I'm happy what I'm doing. But
yeah,
ever since I joined the program, they pushed me like, hey, you just gotta go out there, talk to people. You gotta go out there, talk to brokers. You gotta go out there, talk to investors.
yeah,
So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Then I started talking to them, and I'm like, oh, there's something to talking to people. I learn more stuff talking to people than on my own.
yeah.
So I started going to all the other events, started networking, and he hates me for it because every time I go to his boot camp and whatnot, I do not go inside the boot camp. I stay outside and talk to as many people as I can.
Yeah, at the
And,
little
and
coffee table.
yep,
Yeah,
outside. But we will have about 100 people hanging around outside anyway, networking.
yeah,
And if I don't see anybody, then I go inside. And I take my kid to all the events too. He's only 1 year old, but he's been to 2 boot camps, 2 Warriors event, one Jake and Dino event.
yeah, yeah. I do the exact same thing. The last Grant Cardone event I went to,
Yep,
I was on the outside hallway having the little snacks and
yep,
talking to people. I met a
yep,
developer of big warehouses and self storage like you do.
yep.
I met a guy that does 30 plus doors, a multifamily in Wisconsin. I
Cool.
met a few awesome people. Um, just so yeah, it ends up being more valuable the network that you're
Yep,
buying into than the
yep.
actual education, which, like you said, we already
So,
have a good amount of.
edu- yeah, education is gonna have you're gonna have recording anyway. So when you go home, you can watch the recording.
Oh yeah,
So I want to utilize the whole my time over there to talk to people.
yeah,
I don't want to give them people bad advice here by not going in there and learning. If you like to learn, you better go in there and learn live. But to me, it was more important of networking with people. I knew what I was getting into. I learned what I need to learn. They assigned me a coach, but I didn't have much to learn from the coach besides him pushing me,
hmm,
talking to people.
yeah. There will come a time in terms of your experience level where instead of reading the books, looking at the education as like your truth,
Yep.
is you're going to end up like wanting to network more and write
Yep.
your own books, write your own recordings, write your own education
Yep.
because you have
Yep.
a unique perspective. Okay. For someone new to networking, how would you advise they approach people?
Just go out there talking to anybody you can find. That's how I literally did. I just jump into the conversation and start talking to people. Hey, I introduce myself
Hmm.
and I just join that conversation. And I'm like, pardon me, I don't want to bite into it, but this conversation sounds good. My name is Max.
Hmm.
Nice to meet you. And then I just start talking to them. You just gotta go out there, start talking to them. Don't worry about fear or people are gonna snob you or whatnot. They do, they do. They don't, they don't.
Yeah. And if they're snobby and pretentious, then they are probably not somebody you want to even be with networking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're going to end up down a hole anyways, and you don't want
Yep.
to be part of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just
Okay.
gonna go out there and like elevator pitch. My coach showed me elevator pitch, 3 minutes pitch.
Okay.
Tell them what you do, how you do it, and 2 minute rules. If somebody wants your contact, you send them right away within
Yeah.
2 minutes.
And then also asking how you could serve them, right? And
Yep,
they're doing.
exactly. My whole motto from talking to 15 people was instead of me, what can I do for them? I told them how can I help them. Even if I wasn't making anything or wasn't getting into deal, I underwrote about 200 deals in 3 months.
Wow.
Or sorry, 2 months for other people.
Hmm.
I just went out there, told them, hey, I'm a new underwriter in multifamily side, but I know how to underwrite stuff. So if anybody wants me to underwrite deals for them, I'll do it for free without anything in return.
Oh, wow. That's clever.
And,
And then now you have access to deals.
yeah. So I underwrote them, and every single one of them deals was nice enough. They asked me if I want to join, and I joined a few of them.
Nice. Okay.
I wasn't in it to gain something, anything. I was just in it to learn underwriting.
Yeah.
And they throw me some deals, and I started taking some deals here and there.
Yeah. And underwriting, once you get the basics of accounting down, is not that intimidating.
Nope.
Yeah. If you want a real crash course on underwriting commercial, I would recommend organization called CCIM. They have a
Yep.
fundamentals class, and you could get a pretty good shortcut in like a weekend of how price per square foot works, how net operating income works, how debt service works, and you could be ahead of the curve and be able to underwrite by the end of that fundamentals class.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know how to underwrite a hotel. Was I could underwrite a hotel in my head within 3 minutes over the
yeah,
phone,
nice.
napkin. But multifamily was a different game, so I had to go out there, start looking at Michael Blank stuff, start looking at other people's videos.
Yeah.
Then I joined a few programs that does free underwriting.
Okay.
And I hosted them too. So
nice. So we got other resources there too.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're in their last section now, reserve.
Yep.
Reserve could be taken in a lot of aspects of life, personal, emotional, business. And this is something we got to keep in mind as we go into investing, whether it's passive or full-time, you want to start your own fund, whatever it may be, time commitment wise for you, whatever your goals are. Which aspect would you like to speak to, Max, in terms of you recommend something to hold your emotional reserve, practice you have?
Yes. So reserves to me is like a guiding directions. I have my long-term goal. I keep them in reserves. It sounds a little bit different, but my long-term goal that I chase after is the one I want to build universities and schools and stuff for the poor communities, so they don't have to pay for the schools, or they can go to schools and whatnot.
Okay.
That's what drives me to do what I do.
That gives you
I have,
fulfillment then.
yep. So I have enough to survive myself and my family, just to leave to my kids. That's it. I don't have like generational wealth to leave to my 3-4 generations, but I want them to make their own money, find their own path. So I'm like, I have enough to guide myself and my wife and my kids. That's it. I don't want anything more. I grew up in 10, so worst case scenario, I'll go back to 10 and leave. But the things drives me and puts me to motivation is helping people out, other people out.
Yeah.
So my reserves would be like motivation, you could say that, I guess.
Okay. Does your ability in terms of financial reserves, does that change in terms of how you distribute that based on season in life? Or do you know for sure every time I get money from rents, 10% goes here, 10% goes to donating to the nonprofit, 80% stays with me? Like, how do you break that out?
So we are really conservative anyway. We don't spend much. I still don't have any fancy cars to drive, and I don't want them either. So I just keep it simple. Buy me clothes, buy me food, pay some bills. Rest of them goes on savings, and I'm trying to build bigger savings instead of helping small things here and there, which I do anyway from my gas stations and whatnot. I save big and help the one big cause. So that's what I do with my big reserves.
Yeah.
And I save about 30% of my income for emergencies and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that cars are the most depreciating asset of all time.
Yeah.
To spend it on a Mercedes or something like that.
So look at Warren Buffett. He's still driving his Toyotas or whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm not following him, but to me, if I want a fast car, I better drive more than 100 miles an hour. And I can't drive 100 miles an hour. I don't want a fast car. It's not worth having a fast car if you can't drive more than 40, 50 miles an hour.
Yeah. So if I recall correctly, he owned like a 90s Cadillac.
Cadillac. Yep.
And
he still has it.
Just recently, like I think like 4 years ago, he got a newer one.
Yep.
But it was still like a base trim model. So I'm sure he didn't spend much. So keep that in mind as you are transitioning out of tech world. Don't buy the most expensive car off rip. Like,
no, don't buy liabilities. Buy asset to pay for your liabilities.
Yeah. You said what was that? Don't buy it for the asset.
Yeah. Don't buy the liabilities. Buy asset to pay for your liabilities.
Liability,
like cars and whatnot.
Cars?
liabilities.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Gotcha. Yeah, like make your investments work for you, then you buy your cool stuff.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So I always think like if I want something new or new house or whatnot, because that's the only thing I buy every 2 years is I gotta move somewhere. Because I have a habit of moving to different places. I've been to 39 states, so I can't stay in one place put. So every 2 years I buy me a new house to move in there.
Okay. Cool.
So that's the only thing I do is like I buy a house, but my older house pays for my newer house
Yeah.
because it goes on rental. So,
Yeah. You
but
leave it
that's
all.
about it. Yeah, I don't splurge, but I
Yeah.
just
And that's
now I'm
important
tired
to
of
you.
bigger homes. So,
So yeah, it's okay. It's what's important to you may be important, or somebody else might find something else important.
yep,
So define that, what's actually important. And let's be real, a Mercedes that's 100 grand is not important to live
I
happy.
rather yeah, I put 100 grand to buy me a second house, a third house.
Yeah, exactly. For 100 grand in cash, you could buy 3 houses
Yep,
at minimum.
yep,
Or in your
yep,
case, you bought a whole hotel 40 miles away from Walmart.
yep, exactly.
So
But I wouldn't recommend going out there. I was just lucky and repurpose the property.
yeah,
But I wouldn't
nowadays
recommend going
it's
middle of
yeah,
nowhere and buy something.
yeah. It's probably something only an experienced investor could do nowadays. And back then there was also a different market.
Yeah, back then was just everything was going south in real estate anyway. So
Yeah,
I knew if I was gonna hold it for more, I was gonna make some money anyway.
yeah. So in terms of going out of the city, out and nowadays I would recommend going after a city that still has good economic fundamentals, like maybe a
I,
military based city or something like that.
I chase a little bit differently. So I would like to stay a suburb but outside of city limits,
Hmm.
so I could get USDA loans and whatnot for cheaper.
Okay.
So right now USDA has a lot of loans in the grants program. Even if you want to start your own small business,
Hmm.
if you are a people of 60,000 or less, which is including in Panhandle, Florida, Panama City also includes in there.
Hmm.
That's the reason I moved to Panama City because I could get cheaper loans, 40-year fixed, 7%
Oh
from
wow.
USDA, and that could turn into grants too. Some of the money that you get
Okay.
on loan. So so for example, if you build a solar farm on the ground and build a small business next to it, can be a long-term rental business like a house or whatnot, but it could be short-term rental or hotel,
Yeah.
and you could write off the whole solar panel cost and whatnot in USDA grants,
Oh wow. Genius.
100%, 120% actually.
And so what do you bring to the table for that down payment wise?
So and also USDA loans are guaranteed by federal government, so you only guarantee 20% of the loan, and every bank's willing to give you that loan because it's backed by government anyway, so
Okay.
you're not going to lose much.
Yeah.
So you come out with 30% down,
Okay.
and you close the property, you install some solar farms in there. Then you go out to USDA, hey man, I need some grants for creating energy in rural area.
Okay. There
And
you
that's why I
go.
want to stay outside of city limits because it's a rural area. And when
Okay.
you create energy in rural area, they give you 120%, up to 120% in grants, depending on what kind of parts you use. If it's from China or US, if it's from US made parts, you get more grants. If it's the Chinese parts, you only get 40% grant.
Yeah. There you
But
go.
but
You just got some
but
advice.
it goes better than that. You
Yeah.
create a solar power to feed your power. You get free electricity and sell the rest of the electricity. If you're in Texas, you got private grid, so you could sell your electricity to somebody else too
Oh,
for 10 15 cents a kilowatts.
even more passive income.
Yeah. And on top of that, the carbon credits you generate from creating renewable energies, you sell that to China for 4 times of what you can here in US.
Wow.
That pays for your solar farms within a year or two.
Wow.
And rest of the land under it, give it to the farmers to put the tomato wains or grape wains or whatnot for free and tell them to keep on washing a solar farm with you. So your
Wow.
capacity is 100%.
That sounds like a nasty return at the end of the day. So you got
So
free probably like 20 grand worth of tips from this guy in a small amount of time. Wow, Max, you are generous.
I'd be happy to get on call. Anybody, teach them anybody.
Yeah,
To me, education should be free. So I do teach people how to underwrite stuff for free.
yeah, that's beautiful, bro. And that's what's gonna keep making you richer and richer. Your generosity. So how could people get a hold of you?
They could look me up on Facebook, or they could call me on my cell number. I'm going to give that to you anyway. It's 860-840-7424. Or my Facebook is facebook.com/max.shah1.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. I don't know, bro. Once these podcasts hit millions of views, you may have to change phone numbers.
Nah, man, I don't mind. If I'm busy, I'm going to call them back.
Okay. That's generous of you, bro.
I like to
Especially
talk to
all you
people.
have going on.
I like to talk to people.
Yeah. I could
I don't know what am I going to get into. So
yeah, and you never know, a deal could come out of it too, a juicy deal.
yeah, that's how I walked into one of the offices in Panama City and found out there was the biggest developer meetups every Friday that happens in Panama City.
Wow.
I just started talking to people and walked into like, hey, you got a cool office, what you got going on?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, this is a real estate meetup. I'm like, yeah, I'm in real estate. What you got going on?
Yeah,
we do this every Friday. That guy does 600. The guy has a lot of industrial warehouse, let's say over 60, and he has his own shipping business. He has his own Airbnb business, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. It's funny. I thought the other day, there should be times where you're a place that you feel you don't belong in. Like that should be a regular, frequent habit, at least once a month or something.
Yeah, you want to put yourself in uncomfortable spots.
Yeah,
that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you get shot down and you just say like, go away.
Yeah, or you could get literally shot, and that's okay too.
Yeah. Not really. You don't get really shot for no reasons, unless you're gonna go harass them. That's a different story.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, not too many people want to shoot you down unless you go harass them or you did some dirty work for them.
Yeah,
that's a different story.
I'm just kidding. It's just
I know.
I make corny jokes, bad jokes sometimes.
Yeah, you good. You do good joke, man.
So, how could we support you in your growth?
Network partner, team up.
Okay.
If you have any deals, I'd be happy to take a look at it. If I have deals, I'd be happy to send it to your way too. We could raise money together. We could do some deals.
Okay, awesome.
I don't mind.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Max. Feel free to reach out to him. If you want to do some deals, underwrite together, whatever it is. He's here to help, and I'm here to help too. This has been another episode of From Tech Developer to Real Estate Developer. Thanks for watching or listening. Bye now. Thank you for joining us on another episode of From Tech Developer to Real Estate Developer. I hope you got a lot of return on investment for your time today, and I encourage you to share it with other people so that they could also get returns with this valuable education to invest in real estate. We're also sharing this free education because we want to help people learn how to invest so that they could also create more affordable housing units. We have a great goal of creating 2.5 million affordable housing units by 2047, and free education like this is a big part of that. So by you sharing, you are a part of the equation to create those affordable housing units. So I can't wait to see the end of the road that we're going to achieve together. Have an amazing and blessed day.